No, you rise to the occasion. Experience comes with age, and I've been hearing a lot about age.
Are now, and I finally get to check that off my list. And I knew this was going to be a big fight. The build up for this is the press conferences are entertaining. It's a spectacle.
This fight isn't just approaching, it's storming toward us like a collision waiting to happen. With only 17 days remaining before Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul finally step into the ring, the pressure is reaching a boiling point. Joshua is sharpening every weapon he has, perfecting his power and precision, while Jake pushes through brutal conditioning to match the pace. Every training session now feels like a battle, and the countdown is tightening its grip.
I have nothing but love for him, but I'm going to knock him out respectfully, and we can hug and kiss afterwards, specifically kiss.
Anthony Joshua's new training camp for the Jake Paul fight has taken a serious turn, and this time everything feels different. After suffering a knockout defeat in September 2024 and going through elbow surgery, Joshua knows this comeback demands absolute discipline. That's why he switched camps entirely, choosing a setup that pushes him beyond his comfort zone. He's been grinding through intense conditioning sessions, sharpening technique, tightening his footwork, and polishing ring IQ with the same coaching minds who once helped shape Usyk's craft. Joshua admits the shift has been a massive adjustment, but it's exactly what he needed. The new environment is testing him mentally and physically, reminding him of the standard he must uphold if he wants to dominate again. He's rebuilding confidence, solidifying strengths, and treating this fight as a defining chapter in his career. Every morning, Joshua shocks his body awake with ice-cold baths designed to boost recovery and harden his mindset. The freezing water reduces inflammation, strengthens his resilience, and mentally locks him in for the long grind ahead. This strict routine highlights just how determined he is to walk into the ring fully prepared and ready to rise again. Anthony Joshua is locked inside a training environment built on discipline, precision, and non-stop improvement, and it's reshaping the way he approaches every part of his craft. Guided by coaches who specialize in high-level technique and strategic awareness, he enters each session with a renewed sense of purpose. His work now centers on sharpening explosive offense while building a defense that reacts instantly under pressure. Every step, angle, and punch variation is monitored closely as his team pushes him to break old habits and develop smarter patterns. Those watching from ringside can see how seriously he absorbs every adjustment, choosing refinement over raw strength. He studies distance, timing, and counter opportunities with deeper intent, making his movements more controlled and calculated. Drifting between slick defensive slips and crisp counterattacks, Joshua is mentally evolving just as much as he is physically, preparing his instincts for the unpredictable chaos of heavyweight combat. Eddie Hearn looks at this matchup with a seriousness that reflects how much is truly on the line, fully aware that Joshua's entire career trajectory could shift depending on what happens in the ring. He admits openly that this fight is not just another event or a simple grudge match. It carries long-term consequences that could shape the remainder of Joshua's legacy. A loss here, Hearn says, would force difficult conversations about whether continuing at the highest level would even make sense. Still, despite the weight of these possibilities, Hearn's faith in Joshua hasn't wavered. He believes the months of disciplined training, the revamped routines, and the elevated commitment have rebuilt Joshua from the inside out. From strength work to sparring intensity, Joshua has trained as though a world title is awaiting him on the other side. Reports coming from inside camp only reinforce Hearn's optimism, describing a fighter who is calm, focused, and driven in a way he hasn't been in years. Even with immense pressure surrounding him, Joshua keeps pushing forward, embracing the moment instead of running from it, determined to prove he still belongs among the elite.
someone. I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Alexander Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
Very strange, Paul.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start saying and doing it together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth. He's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But just looking at his record here, he obviously after the Usyk fight, he's come back and he had 3 fights, and then the Ngannou demolition.
Well, Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helenius, he had Otto Wally, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the boxrec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I was wrong on that, and I was proved wrong. But I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick, because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways, is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders. Yeah. He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such a commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he? Yeah. He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been.
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here, in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Alexander Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder,
a major source of Joshua's renewed confidence comes from the elite sparring partners he has brought into camp, each one chosen to test a different part of his game. Recent footage shows him exchanging heavy shots with top-tier heavyweights who offer unique challenges. Jared Anderson, with his explosive power and non-stop pressure, forces Joshua to stay disciplined on defense at all times. Anderson punishes hesitation, making Joshua react quickly, tighten his guard, and stay mentally engaged from the first second of every round. Then there's Frank Sanchez, who brings a completely different puzzle: slick movement, sharp angles, and effortless balance. Sparring with Sanchez requires Joshua to think faster, adjust his footwork, and approach every exchange with strategy rather than pure strength. These sessions aren't just about endurance or toughness. They recreate the intensity of true heavyweight competition. Each sparring partner applies a level of pressure Jake Paul has never experienced. By dealing with contrasting styles, Joshua is crafting a more complete, adaptable approach built on timing, precision, and rapid tactical adjustments.
Then that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. I mean, what is it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Teddy Atlas as well.
Teddy Atlas. Okay. All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses. No.
Just what? Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up, beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Just lastly, you said as well that you told Nikisa that he was weighing 290 when you were negotiating. What impact did that have? Did you feel like they would have gone even lower if they knew he was weighing 265?
No, I don't think that when you're negotiating on a weight, there's not one promoter in the world that would tell the truth about what the weight of the fighter was. And Nikisa knows that anyway. So it wasn't like we were being clever, but they wanted him to come to 240. And it's just, don't forget, AJ's never made weight before. So all of a sudden, he's been in camp for, 2 or 3 weeks. And he's probably sitting at, 260, 265. And it's like, you got to make 245.
As all these voices collide, from veterans, analysts, and former champions, one reality becomes impossible to ignore. Jake Paul is stepping into a world built for giants. The gap in experience, power, and heavyweight pedigree is wider than anything he has ever faced. Anthony Joshua represents a level where one mistake ends everything, and even Jake's biggest supporters know the danger he's walking into. Yet, the spectacle, the money, and the spotlight have pushed this fight forward, creating one of the most shocking matchups boxing has seen in years. Whether Jake survives a few rounds, shocks the world, or gets flattened instantly, the entire globe will be watching when that bell rings. And this story isn't ending here, it's just getting started. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, share it with every boxing fan you know, and subscribe for more high-energy updates.